So do you want a fragrance that's so artistic that it can tell a story? Because if you do, you're absolutely gonna wanna check out Masque Milano's Love Kills. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go and smash the subscribe button down below. But that's right guys, we are gonna be reviewing Masque Milano's Love Kills. Now, I've absolutely fell in love with the house of Masque Milano from the three that I've tried and have reviewed the other two, which is Russian Tea and Tango. Both absolutely incredible launches from the house. And this is by far one of the most artistic, creative houses I ever came across, guys. They just do something completely different with their fragrances, and Love Kills is no exception. Now, Love Kills is actually based on Romeo and Juliet. You have the love side when they fell in love and they were happy and everything was bright and uplifting. Then you have the kill side when you know how it ended, when they killed themselves. And yeah, this fragrance is so complex. It changes from the top to the middle to the base, guys. So cannot wait to share this one with you. But before we do that, let's go over some information. I do also want to mention that Love Kills was sent out to me by the guys over at Maxx. If you're not familiar with the Maxx website, they have discounted fragrances, and I've been purchasing from these guys for 2 years now. And a lot of fragrances you see behind me was actually purchased by them. So I definitely want to shout them out because they deserve it. And man, they have some of the fastest shipping of any website I've ever tried. They usually have free 2-day shipping, guys. So I'll leave their link down below. Definitely go ahead and check them out, especially if you want to buy Love Kills or anything else from them. So Love Kills was actually launched back in 2019, so it is actually fairly new, especially within the house. I think this house has been around for quite some time now, so yeah, launched in 2019. So for the retail prices behind Masque Milano's Love Kills, for a 35 ml bottle like I have in hand, which yeah, it's sort of a unique size. I've never seen it at 35 ml before, but it retails for $169, or you can opt for a 100 ml bottle of this stuff for $420. So it is of course on the more expensive side of things because this is a niche house and you're gonna get what you pay for when it comes to it. The artistic behind it, the quality behind it, everything that comes with a niche house like Masque Milano. So it isn't too expensive, but it definitely is more expensive than your typical designers and stuff like that. And even though it is a 35 ml bottle, this stuff will last a very, very long time because the juice inside is extremely potent, so you don't have to worry about spraying a ton of it or anything of that nature. The perfumer behind the Love Kills is actually Caroline Doomer. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with any of her creations with perfumery or anything like that, but she was the nose behind Love Kills. So with all the information out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the packaging and presentation you will get with this fragrance. So taking a look at the box, man, these boxes are actually very nice. And of course, on the top, you do have the act, which every single fragrance by Masque Milano has a different act, kind of like a play, obviously like Romeo and Juliet. And on the front, you do have a nice stab in it. It looks like a rose with the act number, Love Kills, and you have a Shakespeare quote right there as well. And what I love and respect of what Masque Milano does is they put the perfumer's name twice on the packaging and once on the bottle. I just absolutely love that. I think every company should at least acknowledge the perfumer because at the end of the day, that's who actually created the fragrance. Masque Milano right there on the back, interpreted by Caroline Doomer as well. Then you have the love notes right here. Then you have the kills notes and some art in the background. And then when you pop the top, let's see, nothing much inside the canister besides some foam to protect the fragrance alongside where the fragrance will sit as well. So yeah, very nice packaging and presentation from Masque Milano. Now, taking a look at the bottle, guys, I absolutely love these iconic bottles. They look so, so good. Now, on the top, of course, you have the act as well with a rubberized kind of material cap, which does click into place also. And in the inside, you have Masque Milano logo and nothing on top of the atomizer, but here is where the perfumer is named as well, pretty much embossed around Caroline Doomer and then Love Kills. And then on the front, of course, you have the logo for Love Kills with Masque embossed alongside the glass bottle right there. Then you have your sticker with your batch code and information as well. And that is the bottle presentation. In the top, you have Turkish rose oil, rose, African geranium, and ambrette. Middle notes, you have Turkish rose, patchouli, and in the base, you have ambrome, cedar, and musk. Now, looking at that note breakdown, of course, you're going to be expecting a rose-heavy fragrance, and that is what you get. But let's go ahead and test out the atomizer, and to let you guys know, these have the best atomizers that I've tested thus far in my fragrance journey. Check this baby out here. What is that, guys? That in and of itself is a piece of art. That thing just sprays a ton of juice. That's why you don't really need that many sprays of this stuff as well, and it is pressurized. So Masque Milano, hats off to you with that atomizer. That's incredible. Ooh, guys, this is something special when it comes to rose-based fragrances. So in the opening of this fragrance, of course, you're gonna have the love side of things when it comes to love kills. Now, in the opening, you do get a ton of rose, but it's not your traditional jammy, red, luscious, dark rose. No, this is actually different. This actually comes across as very sparkling, almost like sour-like pink rose. That is what I get with this. I would say this is actually a pink rose rather than a dark red rose. I've never smelled a rose-based fragrance quite like this before in my life, guys. This smells so natural, so unique, and just wow, absolutely blows me away. Alongside, of course, the ton of rose that I pick up on, you do have the geranium, which is another floral note, which can kind of come across like a rose as well, with like a green kind of nuance to that. And that's exactly what you get. In the opening, it's very floral, very rosy, kind of like rose water. I don't know if you've ever tried that, smelled that, but yeah, that's what it comes across to me, guys. If you're looking for a rose fragrance, you do not want to bypass this by any means. Now, I will admit, this does lean on the more feminine side of things, especially in the opening. But to me, guys, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I look at fragrances like a work of art and fragrance that tell a story. Obviously, this is based on Romeo and Juliet. So when I smell this, that's what I picture is the Romeo and Juliet novel play. That is exactly what I get. But yeah, in the opening, it is very feminine because of all the roses. It's not a traditional, like I said, jammy red rose, which is like a luscious and romantic. It's not really that. It's more of, like I said, a clean, sparkling, kind of sourness to your pink rose, which I have to give hats off to Masque Milano, because this is the most unique rose fragrance that I've ever smelled. Nothing smells like this. No rose fragrances smell like this. So yeah, extremely different. But the opening of this is just so vibrant, just so happy, and just so sunny, guys. And it just fits the love side of things perfectly. Now, that opening does actually last quite some time. I would say about an hour or so. Now, after around that mark, you do start to get down to like the base and the middle notes, of course. So when you make your way into the kills side of love kills, it's definitely where it darkens up and becomes a little bit more masculine, with the patchouli, of course, bringing in that earthiness. But you also have that ambrome, which is pretty unique. I don't really see fragrances with that note, but it's supposed to resemble like amber or ambergris, a little bit musky and salty. But you also have the musk as well. And the musk is not really your traditional clean white musk. It is a little bit animalic. But if you remember in the opening, you have the ambrette, which is supposed to resemble musk as well, being animalic. And that actually comes into play alongside the white musk also. So in the dry down, it is earthy, woody, and slightly animalic, but not so much where it's daring or will put somebody off. It just has a slight touch of that dark animalic tones. But for me, I do love rose fragrances, especially if they're red and jammy. But being this one is a very different rose take that leans on the feminine side, it's honestly not a fragrance that I'm gonna reach for all the time. Maybe once in a while in the spring, which will segment into which seasons this works best for. But yeah, definitely spring for me when I want a different kind of rose-based fragrance. Now, for seasons that actually work best for this one, at least in my head, honestly, this one's actually very versatile. Of course, it will work in the spring and summer, because you have that rose, you have the florals and everything like that, and it's a little bit earthy as well. So without a doubt, in the spring and summer, and if you guys didn't notice, there's no citruses, there's no fruits, nothing. It's just very floral and woody and earthy. So yeah, spring, summer. It would also work for the fall and winter as well, because of the dry down being musky and earthy, of course. So fall and the winter, because it's so potent, man. This stuff would actually push through the winter very, very well, which is nice for a floral dominant fragrance, because when you think of florals, you think that they don't last long or anything like that. But this one is completely different, man, when it comes to performance. So for occasions with this fragrance, honestly, I would say this one does lean a little bit more on the formal side of things, because it's just very sophisticated. It smells classy, especially on a woman. That smells very classy. So yeah, definitely stick to more formal events like a job, if you dress up for your job, or a wedding or something like that. This will work perfect for. I wouldn't say this fragrance is actually sexy, especially if like a woman's wearing it. There's nothing really sexy about it since there's no sweetness, nothing like that. But it just is a woman that pretty much means business. She knows what she's after. That's what this fragrance is targeted towards, I would say. So for age groups, this one does definitely lean on the more mature side. Now, usually when you think of rosy fragrances, you think of like granny or old school or anything like that. But this one doesn't come across that old or anything like that. It doesn't really come across old school or nothing. There's definitely a modern twist to it that brings it to the day and age that we are in now. So you don't have to worry about smelling like an old lady or anything of that nature. But it does still lean on the mature side of things. I would say anyone 25 and up, this is perfect for. Anyone below that, I don't think they would actually appreciate this fragrance for what it actually is. So definitely more on the mature side of things. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this one is targeted towards obviously unisex, but at the end of the day, it does lean more on the feminine side without a doubt. Just because of all the florals, the rose, the pink rose, and everything like that, there's nothing really masculine about it besides in the dry down. Also, you can say that it is unisex because the opening's feminine and the dry down does lean a little bit more masculine. But at the end of the day, all in all, this fragrance does lean on the feminine side. So just a heads up for that. So if you're a woman watching this one, I think you'd absolutely love this fragrance, especially if you enjoy rose. If you're a guy looking at this one, definitely gonna have to appreciate fragrances altogether as an artwork to enjoy this one. Or if you just love rose, even though like I said earlier, I do like rose, but all the roses I've come to know are pretty much red, jammy, and luscious. This one is not that. It's very unique and different. So be wary of that. So let's talk about the performance of Love Kills. Now, man, Masque Milano's, the three I've tried are all definitely above average when it comes to performance, and Love Kills is no exception to that. This stuff projects very, very nice because of the sharp kind of uplifting, bright opening. This stuff just pushes off the skin. Very, very loud fragrance. So don't worry about performance. This stuff projects easily over 6 feet from my skin for maybe around 3 hours or so. Then it starts to settle down a little bit more, but you can still pick it up if you walk by someone. The sillage is very nice. As far as longevity though, this stuff lasts long, guys. Even after a shower, you have to scrub this one hard to get it off your skin. So longevity from my testing is around 12 hours or so. So no complaints from me at all. This stuff is a beast, especially for a rose floral fragrance. But that's pretty much gonna wrap up my review of Masque Milano's Love Kills. Let me know down below if you've actually tried this specific fragrance or if you're thinking about trying it. And if you have any recommendations from the house of Masque Milano that I haven't tried or reviewed this far, definitely leave that in the comment below. But per usual, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.